Hello and welcome back to Up the Villa podcast. This is our Unai Emery press conference reaction for Forest v Aston Villa. Thank you all for watching our two build-up episodes this week for Forest, the match preview and the predicted lineup. Predicted lineup's gone down really, really well. We did something different. We had two teams. You got to pick which you felt like was the best team. We got to showcase different traits in our formations on how we can play, adapt, adjust, and just different vibes of what we've got under Unai Emery. So cheers, everyone who watched it and enjoyed it. Go back and watch it if you haven't. On Forest Fan TV, I have done an opposition episode waxing lyrical about Aston Villa and Unai Emery, so you can go and check that one out on Forest Fan TV. We've got the opposition preview, which is out tomorrow, where I'm talking to Nottingham Forest Fan TV. We're finding, all about Forest, their strengths, their formation, their system, their recruitment, Steve Cooper. So if you want a real in-depth look at Nottingham Forest, that'll be coming out tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. So Emery's presser, really looking forward to the game now. Can't wait for it, chomping at the bit. Love watching Aston Villa. At the minute, we're a great football team. We've got one of the best managers in the Premier League. We've got one of the best managers in Europe. For some, it seems to be a bit of an issue, but unfortunately, he's going to be sticking around at Aston Villa for quite some time. So there we go. Some might not like it, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. There's some gate crashers to the big six. Brighton, Villa, West Ham are doing well this season, Newcastle, and I think some of those mainstay teams are currently looking a bit like a shambles. So there we go. So from the GOAT's press conference then, we've got some team news. We have got Ramsey. Looks like he won't be back until after the international break. So, if he's on the bench going into Spurs away, that would be absolutely amazing. We've got some news on Moreno. So Moreno is getting progressively better. He's training with the team, not completely, but he's very close to being available to play. So hopefully, maybe, possibly, he could be on the bench for Alkmaar on Thursday. 20, 15, 10 minutes, maybe. That would be an absolutely massive boost. One of the questions, what I was talking about on Forest Fan TV, is they were saying that, do you feel like your squad's ready, capable? Can it go deep this season? How do you feel like injuries are going to affect you? And I was basically saying that, for me, hopefully this is the worst it's going to get. This is as stretched as the squad's going to get, because the job we've done so far with Moreno, Ramsey, Mings, Buendia, Carlos has been out. With those players being out, Duran's been out. We've done so well. So hopefully, come the end of the season, we're going to have more bodies back and be less stretched. So we should end the season a lot stronger, hopefully. So Emery spoke about Martinez. He always wants to improve individually and collectively. To get the trophy Yashin awarded is magnificent. We can all be very proud of him. So we spoke about Martinez getting this trophy in the match preview. Super proud of him. And he'll feel like now that he's owed a clean sheet. He will feel like he's owed a clean sheet. So he's going to get that clean sheet sooner or later, because he won't be happy with the one he conceded at Luton. Emery's also said, I have to be very clinical in my analysis of how we can improve and never be relaxed. I want to be very demanding with each player in every match, which is typical Emery. On Diaby, we are very happy with him, but he can improve more and play better. I want to support him and demand more. And that's the beauty of Emery, isn't it? He doesn't rest on his laurels and he wants to improve. We saw it last season. He improved players. We've seen it this season. Those players that improved last season have got even better this season, which is absolutely amazing. And I've said it recently, and I've said it pretty much all season, that we're going to get better, and we are by far from the finished article. Away, we are not consistent like we want. We have to improve. This is the challenge, and I think this boils down to mine and Ryan's lineup of why we predicted the defence having a little bit of a subtle tweak this weekend as well. And I think if any Villa fan would say one slight negative this season would be away from home, we're not as strong as at home. And I think that's a difficult balancing act because, away from home, those games are always difficult. But we know what our manager's like. He doesn't just settle for average. He wants to be the best in every single match we play. And I think they're looking back at Wolves, there will be a couple of things that he wants to put right. And I think it's the controlling the game and not allowing teams on that transition counter to really get at us. So, it sounds like, again, he's working hard. He's demanding more from the players. And he just wants to, get the best out of everybody. So it's his birthday. Happy birthday, Unai. I imagine that tonight he will be with everybody, sitting down in that tactical room, going through the archives of Nottingham Forest style of play, probably from the 90s, just to try and gain that upper hand and just see whether he can get that little advantage and just go tactically through the decades to get to sort of, a nice, happy place of how he feels confident going into the game on Sunday. Pau Torres has done a great interview talking about his life at Aston Villa since he's been here. He mentions the camaraderie with all the players. He spoke about the challenge of the Premier League being quicker, being more physical and having to adapt. And he's also spoke about the refs sort of allowing a little bit more contact from La Liga as well. So, some real good content's gone out this week from Villa, which is great to see. And the media noise seems to have got a little bit louder around Aston Villa, which I'm completely fine with, really, because Unai is a great manager. He's a legend. And whatever you read, whatever you hear, for me, there's absolutely no chance of him currently leaving Aston Villa to go to any club. He's bought into the Aston Villa project. He has learnt from his past failings, if there any of them were failings at PSG and Arsenal. He's Villa and Unai have worked together to collectively combine and grow and give Emery everything that he needs to succeed at Aston Villa. And I think that's one of the key components. Unai Emery would not go to any club in Europe and have the same level of control as what he's got at Aston Villa. Monchi, Vidagani, the analyst teams, the owners, the fan base. Aston Villa currently are not a top 4 team. Unai Emery's aim since he came to Aston Villa was to get Aston Villa into the Champions League. Now, at that moment in time, we were a million miles away from it. And in the short space of time, we've been able to climb that table. And this season so far become challengers to that position. Unai's aim when he first came in was to get Aston Villa into the Champions League. What's changed? Absolutely nothing. Emery believes in himself and Emery knows he can get Aston Villa climbing up that Premier League table. So for him to leave to go to another Premier League club, what's the point? What's the point? I've seen Goldstein talking about Unai going to Manchester United. The man's deluded. The man is absolutely deluded. Absolutely deluded if he thinks Unai would leave Aston Villa to go to Manchester United. Number one, the stadium's falling down. Number two, the owners are absolutely clueless. 3, the recruitment's terrible. 4, they've had some of the top managers in world football and all had the sack. So these media people need to just fix up and understand what is happening at Aston Villa, because some of the stuff that I'm seeing from some of them is an absolute joke. Carragher's done an article, starts his article off really nice, talking about Unai, talking about Villa, winning trophies this season maybe, and then goes on to switch the classic narrative of all of these pundits surrounded with this bubble of if an elite club comes in for Unai Emery, Emery would leave Aston Villa. Well, sorry, my friend. Why would he? Why would he? He could possibly go to a bigger club like Real Madrid, etc. but he's building something at Aston Villa to climb us to be at that level. So it's really frustrating when those type of articles come out, because I don't mind the chat of Aston Villa on how well we're doing, but when the article starts well and ends with that type of rubbish at the end of it, it's just ridiculous, and it infuriates me a little bit, because give him some integrity, give us some respect, because the job we're doing is absolutely amazing. And unfortunately, these type of people don't like other clubs kind of gate crashing, and he's probably sort of being a little bit hurt with what happened with his best mate as well. So yeah, some of the stuff that I've been reading is just an absolute joke, and it's all like hypothetical like crap, which is just a joke. So I've gone off on a bit of a rant, but I think it's needed, because if they say crap, then expect like people to respond to it, because it's just literally ridiculous. So we're absolutely flying. We're doing really, really well. And Unai absolutely loves Villa, and he's got a big job to do at Aston Villa to get us back where we all think we belong. So really looking forward to the game. We've got the opposition preview, which is going to be coming out tomorrow morning with Forest Fan TV. Go and check the episode that I've done out on their channel as well if you want some content for the rest of today. Drop your thoughts in the comment section down below. Up the Villa, and I'll see you tomorrow on the opposition preview, and then we'll be back on Sunday for the match reaction as well. Up the Villa.